Hi, Ray here. Today I want to talk a little bit about preventing blisters. You know, over the years I have tried everything to try to prevent blisters. I've tried heavy socks, I've tried thin socks, I've tried liner socks, I've tried duct tape, you name it. I've tried every way possible that people told me would result in blister prevention, but none of them worked for me. At the end of the first day of hiking, I'd always wind up creating these moleskin donut hole pads that you may be familiar with, and trying to surround that blister and protect it so it wouldn't hurt like crazy the next day. Well, I'll tell you, I found a product this year that I used, and it was extraordinary. I hiked about 12 miles my first day out in Colorado last week, and I was up and down hills between 8,000 and 9,000 feet, and I never had one hot spot. Certainly never had a blister. This product is great. In this video I'm going to show you how I applied the product, and I'm going to show you how to do it on both hiking boots and trail runners. So stay tuned. If you suffer from blisters, I think you're going to like this. So the product that I finally found that worked for me with regard to blister protection was KT tape, or kinesiology therapeutic tape. It comes in a box like this. I bought the Pro version. You can get another version which is a little less expensive, but this is supposed to be more water resistant, so it makes sense to me that if you're going to be wearing these on sweaty feet, you want the most water resistant version that they possibly have. So it comes in a package like this. You open this up, and inside it there's a little canister that looks like that. Remove the top, and inside you have 20 strips that are pre-cut to 10 inches long. So this is what the full strip looks like that's cut to 10 inches. And that works perfectly with one on each foot if I'm wearing my trail runners. If I'm wearing my hiking boots, I need more protection high up here on the ankle. I tend to have pretty bony ankles, so I'll get hot spots mostly on the inside of my ankle. So you can take one more strip, you can cut it in half, and now you've got two 5-inch pieces that you can cover your ankle up with. One thing I will recommend is that when you do cut these, cut them with rounded corners, because if you don't, what's going to happen is the edges will snag and it'll start to curl up on you. That's going to happen with any tape that you use. It's less likely to happen with this because it adheres so well, but I still recommend that you cut those corners in a rounded fashion just like that. Now before you apply the KT tape, I recommend, as do the KT folks, that you make sure that your foot is clean, and then I also carry these little alcohol swabs, and you want to just make sure that you run that over your foot, getting as much of the oil off of your foot as you possibly can. The skin oil could cause it to not adhere as well as you would like. Once you've done that, dry it off, and or air dry it, but just make sure it's dry, and that tape is really going to stick to that foot. So let me show you how I apply this tape. If I'm wearing trail runners, then what I'm going to tend to do is to get a little bit of a hot spot right under my ankle on both sides here. I always, no matter what shoes I wear, when I'm hiking, I wind up with hot spots right back here on the back of my heel. This is where I get the worst blisters. So what I try to do is make sure that I'm applying this such that I can bring it around and under my ankle in such a way that it protects the bottom of my ankle, and then bring it around low on my heel here to protect my heel. If you try to do that with regular tape, you just wouldn't be able to get it to flex enough that you could do both of those at the same time. This tape, as you will see, is very stretchy, so it really can conform to all the curves. Even though you're going under your ankle and forcing it around the bottom of your heel here, it's going to stretch and it's going to adhere very well. And I found that not only would this stay on all day, but I even tested it and I showered at night, and it stayed on even through the shower. So I think you could wear these things for probably at least 2 days, maybe 3, although I didn't try that out. So let me show you how I would wrap this. So the way I would wrap this tape is to, first of all, you can tear the paper on the back by simply stretching where you're going to be using it. That's the easiest way to get this tape off. So make sure that you've torn that all the way through, and then you can get started taping. Now, the reason they call this kinesiology therapeutic tape is because its primary use is for aiding where you've got pulled muscles or torn ligaments, or trying to keep joints tighter, such as a knee joint. And you see a lot of athletes wearing this on their shoulders and elbows and knees, and that's the primary use for this tape. But as such, it's made to be, it's almost like an ace bandage with adhesive on one side, if you will. It can stretch out very, very much. And that makes that handy when you're trying to wrap around different curves, as I said, and in our case, prevent blisters. So the way I would apply this is I would start up here, and then once I got it adhered, I could start to stretch that around. Now, I can stretch the outside more than the inside, so I can get it up under my ankle like I want to, and then bring it down lower on my heel. Bring it around your foot, down low on your heel, and then start to work your way back up on your ankle, making sure that there are no bumps or bubbles as you do that. Work that up high on your ankle like that, and then stretch the other end out, and it crosses over the top. Now, as I've mentioned, I tend to have very narrow feet in here, and I tend to have ankle bones that stick out quite a bit, and that can cause me some problems. And so because my foot is so narrow, what often happens is when I lace up shoes to try to get them as tight as I can, then I also get rubbing on the top of my foot here because it's so tight here to keep this part tight. So I found that that helps with that as well. I don't feel how tight it is up there. But you can see how that has really conformed now to my foot. There are no bubbles, no wrinkles, and once it's on there, you kind of want to rub that on like that, creating a little bit of heat and friction. And what that does is that it helps warm up that adhesive a little bit, and it'll stick better to your foot. Now, if I'm wearing my trail runners, as I said, I'll get hot spots here, and certainly down here at the ankles. Now, the way I've taped this, I have protected myself from all of that. When it comes up underneath, it's going to hit the tape here, down low, all through my heel in here. It's protected my heel, and it's done that on both sides. And if I lace them up pretty tight, it's right across here, it's protected my foot from any heat and rubbing there. So that works great for the trail runners. Now, in addition to that, again, as I say, my ankles will tend to pop out pretty good there and cause some hot spots on these boots here when I lace these pretty tight. So in addition, when I use this, what I do is put an additional piece right across here, like that. Now, what I would do if I was going to use this piece here, I would use that first, and then I would come over with this piece afterwards over there. But you could see how that protects that, and you could use that inside or outside your ankle. Now, a lot of people have trouble under their feet, and if that's the case, you would simply take your strip and you'd wrap that under like that. Same principle is going to apply. Once you've torn that, the elasticity is going to make that just conform very well to your feet, and then you would protect that area of your feet down there. You could also cut these to use on your toes or anywhere else on your foot where you detect that, where you know if you've hiked long enough that you're going to get hot spots. That's how I apply it, and it worked great for me. I can't describe to you how well this conforms and adheres to your foot. So like I said, I went hiking that first day, hiked most of the day, hiked about 12 miles, and it didn't curl up or come off any place on this KT tape. This is just great stuff, and it completely took any friction and hot spots away from my foot. So I hope this was helpful. I'll tell you, it's the first product that I have tried in years of going out for hiking that has really worked for me. There's nothing worse than going out that first day, getting a blister, and then the next several days you're just fighting that thing that hurts so darn bad on your foot, and it just ruins a great time. This KT tape was absolutely spectacular. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. It's a little expensive compared to other just regular tape, but it's well worth the money. I found out about this on a channel called Bigfoot, and he did a video about how to prevent blisters and talked about lacing your boots and lacing your trail runners and so forth, and had a small segment about the KT tape. So thanks to Bigfoot for putting that out there. I would direct you over to his channel for his blister prevention, because he also talks more about lacing and other techniques than I wanted to cover here. I just really wanted to talk about the KT tape. So again, this is something that worked really well for me. I'm convinced that it'll work for you as well. Give it a try, and happy hiking, happy blister-free hiking, I should say, and thanks for watching.